Good morning, everyone. What a beautiful day, huh? Nice and cool, no rain. All right, please take your seats. Welcome to a new era for public transit in New York City. Next stop, fast buses, better service, represents a historic partnership to build the fastest, best bus system in our city's history. The plan is designed to deliver for riders, to give time back to our neighbors, and to make our bus system easier, more reliable, and more comfortable for everyone. And it represents a unique spirit of collaboration in which Albany and City Hall do not hesitate to work together to improve working people's lives. Because the city has the streets and the state's got the buses, and together we are committed to delivering fast buses and better service for New Yorkers. Without further ado, it is my honor to introduce our mayor, Mayor Mamdani.
Good morning, everyone. It is an honor to be here with so many friends, partners, advocates, and community members, transit riders, and public servants. And also an incredible remix of Madonna's 4 Minutes. Thanks to your tireless efforts, we are here in downtown Brooklyn to say something millions of New Yorkers have been waiting to hear. The next stop for New York City is better buses. And I want to acknowledge that we are here joined by a number of leaders at every level of government. We have our Governor, Kathy Hochul, who is joining us today. Our MTA Chair, Jano Lieber. Our City Council Transportation Chair, Sean Abreu. As you've heard from our Deputy Mayor for Operations, Julia Curson. Our DOT Commissioner, Mike Flynn. Our NYPD Transportation Chief, Obi. And we have from Riders Alliance, Betsy Plum and Andrea Albayeros Abdullah. And I also want to acknowledge our Borough President of Manhattan, Brad Hoylman Siegel. Council members Alexa Aviles and Amanda Farias. And our Brooklyn Deputy Borough President, Kim Council. Let's give them a round of applause. It is such a pleasure to be here alongside all of them as we come together to make an announcement that speaks to a singular truth that every person who calls our city home knows. In New York City, time is money. And we are going to give New Yorkers some of that time back. 6 minutes, to be precise. So to illustrate what 6 minutes saved really means, I have decided to keep the rest of my speech to 6 minutes exactly. We're going to use this stopwatch to show that the clock starts now. Now, for decade after decade, the working people of our city who rely on the bus have had their precious time treated with disdain. New York's bus system carries more riders than America's next 4 largest bus systems combined. And those riders commute on the slowest buses in the nation, many of which crawl at an average of 5 miles per hour. Too many New Yorkers walk faster to the bus stop than the bus they finally get on actually travels. Too many lives are planned around delays and commutes. Too many communities have demanded better. A devoted 34th Street busway, a redesign of Fordham Road in the Bronx, a rapid bus corridor down Flatbush Avenue. And yet, despite all of the work of so many that are here and even beyond this event, they have found that their voices have been ignored by those who can deliver change. That ends today. Our streets are public spaces. How we design them reflects who we believe they are for. Today, we make a decision that puts working New Yorkers first. Now, I am proud to stand alongside Governor Kathy Hochul this morning as we launch our bus action plan, Next Stop. This historic investment will make our buses faster and more reliable for millions of New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs. The Department of Transportation will work in partnership with the MTA to transform 50 priority bus routes citywide, some of which are currently the slowest in the city, many of which serve neighborhoods with few other transit options, and all of which deserve better. Now, here in Brooklyn, we will deliver the first of 5 rapid bus corridors by 2030 on Flatbush Avenue. Now, Flatbush Avenue is a corridor used by more than 130,000 riders every day, but slowed by some of the city's worst gridlock. The first phase of Flatbush is already underway and includes center-running bus lanes and new bus boarding islands. Future phases of the project include fully separated bus lanes, stations with level boarding, and fast, frequent service guaranteed. Now, Flatbush is only the beginning. Northern Boulevard in Queens, 116th Street in Manhattan, White Plains Road in the Bronx, Utica and Church Avenues in Brooklyn, Victory Boulevard on Staten Island. These streets and dozens of other routes across the 5 boroughs will receive dedicated rapid service and infrastructure improvements that finally put riders first. Part of that means changing how buses stop and start with transit signal priority, queue jumps, and yes, all-door boarding. These improvements may sound technical, but they deliver change that is anything but. Less waiting, faster trips, and buses that arrive when they're supposed to. We are also making sure that bus lanes stay clear. By 2028, all 50 corridors will have automated camera enforcement because these lanes should do exactly what their name promises. They should be for buses. Now, we are not just improving our bus lanes, we are improving our buses too. The MTA will replace 40% of our aging fleet with 2,500 brand new vehicles. Taken together, these investments will increase speeds along our 50 priority corridors by 20% on average. That means riders will save up to 6 minutes every trip, up to 12 minutes every commute. I'm just going to check. We have 1 minute and 53 seconds left for me to hit this goal. Now, if you take the bus to work, that adds up fast. Within 6 months, you will have spent 24 fewer hours on the bus. By the time a year rolls around, you'll have saved more than 2 days of commuting time. That means breakfast with your family. It means having the time to argue balls and strikes at your kid's Little League game. It means getting home for bedtime. It means agreeing with your friends that Egypt were robbed yesterday. Above all, it means time returned to New Yorkers who don't have nearly enough of it. And as we do so, we are also ensuring that the time spent on our bus system is a little more pleasant. No longer will the majority of bus stops in New York City be a rusty pole and slab of concrete. That is not good enough. By the end of this year, we will install 100 new bus shelters citywide and 300 more by 2031. We will add benches and leaning bars at 875 bus stops each year, with seating guaranteed at every single bus stop in the city by 2035. And we will plant more trees around stops to provide shade and protection from the elements. At every stop of this work, the working people who ride our buses every day will shape the decisions that we make. Input from street outreach and community workshops will be incorporated during the design and development phases. And even after construction is completed, we will continue to solicit feedback to make sure that each project is delivering exactly what we promised. Years from today, when we take measure of whether this plan succeeded, we will calculate it by how many New Yorkers get home earlier, by how many buses arrived when they were supposed to, by how many working people got some relief from the heat and the rain. and by how I can't even speak as fast as the savings that we're going to receive. Because what we're going to see is that New Yorkers will spend 6 fewer minutes on the bus and 6 more minutes living their lives. Because I want a city where Christopher Leon Johnson has enough time to come and yell at a press conference. I don't want him to be stuck on the bus on the way to the press conference. That's the city I want. A city where you can heckle your public officials because the bus is running on time. And our streets should work like the working New Yorkers who use them, quickly and efficiently. With this bus action plan, we are taking a huge step towards a future where our buses run as fast as everything else in this city we love. One where every New Yorker's commute is defined by ease and dignity. Thank you. This is for Christopher. This is for every New Yorker who takes the bus. And this is for everyone who knows that a world-class city deserves world-class buses. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. Now, I'd like to introduce our governor, whose leadership and partnership is foundational to this vision.
Hello, New York. You want to go faster? Well, so do I. And I want to thank our mayor and his team for working so closely with us. You know, we've wanted to do this before. This is not a brand new idea, but we never had the partnership and the leadership in City Hall that we have right now, and I want to give them a huge round of applause. And to all the transit advocates, the Riders Alliance, and everyone else, let's give them a huge round of applause for always being on the front line of what is right. I want to thank Jan O'Lever for running an extraordinarily complicated system, but does it in an incredible way. Let's give him a round of applause as well. Betsy Plum, the Executive Director of the Riders Alliance, and all of you, I thank you so much. You are an important part of us getting congestion pricing over the line. Thank you very much. And we'll continue to stand up to the Trump administration and say, that ain't going anywhere, Mr. President. We're keeping our congestion pricing because it's 27 million fewer cars on the roads in our city. You're also helping me with the next phase of the 2nd Avenue subway so we can eliminate transit deserts and let people have an opportunity to get to the better paying jobs. Thank you, Riders Alliance, for being with me on that one. And how do you like the sound of the Interborough Express? You want to be able to go from Brooklyn to Queens without a nice stop in Manhattan? We're going to make that happen. So we've done an awful lot to help people on our subways and make our trains faster, and rider satisfaction is up. But you know what? Let's focus on the bus riders. I want you to have the same positive experience that you deserve. This is a way that people get to their jobs. The nurses wake up at the crack of dawn and need the bus to get them to the hospitals to take care of us and our families. The school teachers who show up every single day. The people who work the night shift and have to go home. The bus is their lifeline. And the students who go to school every day. I remember being a student. Yes, it was a few years ago, I get it. But I remember being a 16-year-old living in a blue-collar suburb outside of Buffalo. And I used to leave school every day at noon, don't tell my teachers. And I went and volunteered at the Democratic headquarters. I had an hour bus ride every day. I would have liked somebody to say, let's make those buses go faster. And that's what we're doing today. So it's about putting the money where our mouths are, right? This could have happened, but the resources were not there. And that's part of my historic $68 billion investment in public transit. That's how we're able to get 2,500 brand new buses. You're going to love these buses. They're incredible. You're not going to get off the bus. You're going to want to go to the next stop. It's going to be so great. But also, we're going to make sure that we speed it up at 50 priority locations. We're going to allow people to be able to come off the back, on and off the back. Think about that, how it's going to speed things up. We'll get that done as well. Use every door for the boarding. And we're going to complete the transition to tap and ride. So I'll be shorter than the mayor's 6 minutes. How do you feel about that? Got you beat there, Mayor, because I know these people are in a hurry. They're in a hurry to finally have faster buses in New York City. We got it done. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to introduce MTA Chair and CEO Janno Lieber.
6 minutes. 6 minutes.
Tick tock, tick tock.
6 minutes.
Get on the bus.
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 I did ask for Empire State of Mind as my walk-up, but, didn't. They already promised that to you-know-who. Look, thank you, everybody, for being here. This day has been a long time coming. When I first became the MTA chair, when Governor Hochul appointed me, one of the first things I did was to actually crash a Riders Alliance rally protesting against slow buses, protesting that buses were slower than walking, as everybody knew. I showed up uninvited, and the press corps kind of laughed at me because I was the first MTA chair ever to show up in a protest against the MTA. But as I told everybody at that event, this is a new situation. You know who hates slow buses? The MTA leadership. And we have been fighting every day, week after week, month after month, every years for more bus lanes, more enforcement of cars and trucks that are double parking, faster buses, and congestion pricing, which has been such a positive effect on traffic. There you go. There you go. No secret, we had Governor Hochul's strong support, but the support at the local level in the prior City Hall was, shall we say, uncertain. Not the case anymore. Our partners today, this mayor, this DOT commissioner, this governor who's been a supporter of faster buses from the get-go, all want to make sure that buses are way faster than walking. They want to follow up on everything that's been promised. The overdue commitments to build bus lanes, which is, by the way, are a matter of law in the city of New York. Matter of law. And the ramping up the traffic enforcement. We all see the illegal parking that blocks buses. A little of it is going on right here, by the way. Might have noticed that. But buses can only move as fast as the traffic. So if you are a bus rider, this is what's going on here today is terrific news. We have been trying to move the ball forward the last couple of years. Everybody knows about our borough-by-borough bus redesigns, which have actually led to increases in bus service. Thank you, Governor Hochul, for funding that. Brooklyn is next. We're going to stop running buses on routes that people don't go to or running to terminals that were torn down 50 years ago. That's what we're going to change, among other things. We're going to increase... Right on. We're going to increase automatic camera enforcement, which is already showing huge benefits. You know what? New Yorkers are smart. When they get that first ticket, the overwhelming majority of them don't get a second. Automatic camera enforcement works. It protects New Yorkers the same way that speed cameras do. And we're going to buy a ton more buses because older buses spend a lot of time sitting in the maintenance depot rather than out on the road. Thanks to the governor, we've got $1.5 billion in our new capital program to buy new buses, and we're fast on the way. Listen, this work is going to have a much greater impact now that Albany and City Hall and MTA and everybody are on the same page. I want to thank the folks on the city team who contributed to getting us to this report, but especially the MTA folks, Dara Goldberg, your team, MTA policy, the bus team at New York City Transit, Demetrius Critchlow, Frank Farrell, and everyone who works for them. Final point, I always say it, buses are the engine of equity in our city, and they are the engine of affordability. They allow, mass transit is what makes New York City possible. It's what makes the density that is the source of our dynamism, our specialness, and not to mention that mass transit is always the antidote to climate change. And if Washington's not going to worry about it, we in New York are, let me tell you. So by improving the bus system, Mayor, we're going to strike a blow for equity, something that you always talk about. We're going to strike a blow for affordability, something that you and the governor always talk about. This report is just the beginning. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, advocates. On to faster buses.
Thank you. Now it's my privilege to introduce our very own DOT Commissioner, Mike Flynn.
I'm out of time and all I got is 6 minutes. 6 minutes, yeah. I'm out of time and all I got is 6 minutes. 6 minutes, yeah. Snap. I'm out of time and all I got is 6 minutes. 6 minutes, yeah. I'm out of time and all I got is 6 minutes.
All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Riding the bus in New York City, you could be forgiven for feeling like it was an afterthought of government. Buses are slowed in traffic, blocked by double-parked vehicles, and crowded at stops where it takes too long to board. As a result, it can feel like there's two types of relationships New Yorkers have with their bus system. There's New Yorkers for whom buses are a lifeline. For these New Yorkers with no other option, buses are often a source of stress and anxiety. And there are New Yorkers who actively avoid riding the bus or don't think of the service at all. This can change. This will change. We can have a world-class system for a world-class city. Fast, comfortable, and reliable. Enough so that every New Yorker sees the bus as a convenient and affordable way to get around their city. This administration will be flipping the script. These 50 new priority corridors serve 25 of the slowest routes in the city. Improvements along routes will begin as soon as this year. It's not just about speed gains that the mayor mentioned, it's also about reliable and consistent service, knowing the bus will be there when you need it. Regularly arriving buses mean that New Yorkers no longer need to take an extra 20 or even 30 minutes baked into their commute, because who knows when the bus will arrive and you can't get to work late. This is a key part of our administration's affordability agenda. Delays can cost bus riders wages if their bus is late. It could mean late pickup fees at daycare. And if you live in the outer boroughs today in certain parts of the city, you might be forced to make sacrifices in order to dedicate thousands of dollars of your wages every year towards owning a car, maintenance, insurance, gas, if it feels like the only reliable way to get around. Faster buses mean expanded and easier access to jobs, healthcare, culture, education, and so much more. I'd like to thank the incredibly talented teams at New York City DOT that will be delivering on this plan, and everyone standing here with us today. Mayor Mamdani for finally prioritizing the needs of bus riders, Governor Hochul and Chairman Lieber, as well as City Council Transportation Committee Chair Sean Abreu for his incredible support at the city level. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Next up, I'd like to introduce Council Majority Leader Sean Abreu.
Good morning, everyone. We all know how much New Yorkers are in a hurry. We don't like to wait around, and we don't like to sit in traffic. As chair of the City Council's Transportation Committee, I hear time and time again from New Yorkers across the city that they want fast, affordable, and accessible buses. Is that right, Mr. Mayor? This bus action plan sets a future for our transportation network that is befitting of our great city. And I'm proud that in the budget we passed last week, the Council helped secure the funding necessary to make sure that the Department of Transportation can deliver exactly these kind of projects that make it easier for everyone to get around the city. We will continue to work closely with the mayor and the governor to create the bus network that New Yorkers deserve. Thank you, Governor Hochul, Mayor Mamdani, and Commissioner Flynn for making this possible.
Thank you. And finally, we would not be here without the bus riders whose years of experience and advocacy is behind every advancement today. I'd like to introduce Riders Alliance member leader Andrea Alballeros Abdallah, an artist, poet, and lifelong bus rider from Flatbush.
6 minutes. 6 minutes.
Tick-tock, tick-tock.
6 minutes.
Get on the bus.
6 minutes.
Get on the bus.
Hola, buenos días. Hello, good morning. My name is Andrea Alballeros Abdallah. I am a lifelong New Yorker and Flatbush bus rider. I am here representing Riders Alliance and bus riders across the city. I'm excited to speak. I'm excited to speak alongside our mayor today to talk about how a successful citywide bus plan will change my life and the life of my community. There are people like me who have lived in New York City our entire lives, relied on city buses for as long as we can remember. The bus is how we get to work, school, move through the neighborhood we call home. Public transportation is not a luxury. It's our livelihoods. Our livelihoods depend on it. My whole life, I've taken the B41 and the B44, two buses that are critical to Flatbush riders like me. I'm an artist and working florist, juggling multiple jobs and traveling from Brooklyn to Manhattan to make ends meet while continuing to do the work I love. Too often, I leave home not knowing whether the bus is a viable option getting to and from work that day. Having to choose between waiting for the bus that may not come on time or taking a longer route by train shouldn't be a decision that could cost someone their job. But that's the reality for working New Yorkers every day. In a city where the cost of living keeps rising, we cannot afford to lose income or hours of our lives because the system we depend on is failing us. Working people deserve reliable public transportation. We should not have to keep waiting for it. The rider power that's been built to get to this moment is going to give more dignified commutes for the 2 million New Yorkers who ride the bus every day. Our city streets are public space, and New Yorkers deserve a much more equitable approach to how that space is used. Buses are for the people. Most New Yorkers ride the bus, which makes them an integral part of our city's streets and need to be treated as a priority. A citywide plan for fast buses is the way to move forward in creating fair commutes for everyone using our streets. But to do so, it must put bus riders' needs at the center. It must deliver real-time savings for bus riders, and it must use clear communication to riders. Buses have always been and will always be an important part of the city and its people. I want to thank the riders, the bus drivers, and the community for continuously showing up to demand the transportation we deserve. I want to acknowledge how powerful it is that the mayor and governor are here together to show riders that we are going to work together to deliver on a plan that will change the lives of people. We need a government that will listen to the people, and I am grateful for the chance to speak alongside Mayor Mamdani as we work to make real change for millions of New Yorkers. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now we'll turn it over to on-topic questions.
Thank you so much, Deputy Mayor. Let's give it up one more time for our speakers. All right, we're going to start with on-topic questions about today's announcement about transit. We're going to start with Samantha from New York 1 in the first row.
Hi, Mr. Mayor. So, how are you going to meet these benchmarks, especially, and the union is protesting here. They're an integral part of making the buses work. How do you plan to bridge that gap?
I think the union is here about their contract, not about the bus action plan.
Part of it is maintenance and making buses faster. They can possibly lose overtime from that if the buses are more efficient, and getting certain standards into the contract. So how are you going to address that? Because obviously there's a very contentious contract negotiation. This may be more for Jano, but I'll also...
Yeah, I think, whenever I've had conversations with union members and union leadership, there is a shared commitment to a desire to make our bus system, our public transit system, the envy of the world. And we know that we consider our city to be a world-class city. It's time to do everything we need to deliver that world-class public transit. And when we're talking about this plan, I just want to distill what this will actually mean. We're talking about speeding up buses 20% on 50 priority corridors. We're talking about New Yorkers saving up to 6 minutes per trip. And what we're also talking about is doing all of these day-to-day improvements alongside the kind of capital investments that really have an impact on what bus riders' experiences are, whether it's how they wait for the bus, whether it's that they know the bus is actually coming. And I'll tell you, as a bus rider myself, there have been times where I look at my bus time app, I'm told the M60 is coming, 9 minutes. It's about 2 minutes away, that bus disappears. And we need to make the actual investments necessary to ensure that New Yorkers can trust what they're seeing and that they can get on that bus, and that the buses are so good that they might not want to get off that bus. I'm going to pass it over to our MTA chair as well as our DOT commissioner for anything additional.
The mayor's got it right. We have an enormous amount of investments in here that are going to change people's lives. We finally got a commitment to execute on the law that says there have to be a certain number of busways and bus lanes built every year. That was the law for the last 6-7 years, and that wasn't happening. That's a big breakthrough. The commitments to make bus stops more accessible, to make sure that there's seating, to make sure, as the mayor says, that the technology that tells you when the bus is coming is reliable, is important. Also included in this, though, apropos of your question, is that we need a partnership with the union to make sure that the maintenance that's happening in the depots is happening on time. We need a partnership with the union that makes sure that the buses leave the depot and the workers are showing up every day, because it's no secret that we're having challenges putting every bus out. So that is part of our challenge, is to work